They all went in for breakfast. Sorry I let Timothy go, said Julian to George, but he nearly tore my arm off. I couldn't hold him. He's grown into a really powerful dog, hasn't he? Yes, said George proudly. He has. He could eat Mrs. Stick dog up in a mouthful if we let him, and Edgar too, and Mrs. Stick, and said Annie, all of them. I don't like any of them. Breakfast was rather a subdued meal, and as Aunt Fanny wasn't there, but Uncle Quentin was, and Uncle Quentin, in a bad temper, wasn't a very cheerful person to have at the breakfast table. He snapped at George and glared at the others. Annie almost wished they hadn't come to Kirin Cottage, but she felt better when she thought of the rest of the day. They would take their dinner out perhaps and have it on the beach, or maybe even go out to Kirin Island. Uncle Quentin wouldn't be with them to spoil things. Mrs. Stick came to clear away the porridge plates and bring in the bacon. She banged the plates down on the table. No need to do that, said Uncle Quentin irritably. Mrs. Stick said something. She was scared of Uncle. And turning the page, Quentin, and no wonder she put the next lot of plates down quietly. What are you doing to What are you going to do today? Asked Uncle Quentin towards the end of breakfast. He was feeling a bit better and didn't like to see such subdued faces around him. We thought we might go out for a picnic, said George early. I asked Mum. She said we can if Mrs. Stick will make us sandwiches. Well, I shouldn't think she'll try very hard, said Uncle Quentin, trying to make a little joke. They all smiled politely, but you can ask her. There was a silence. Nobody liked the idea of asking Mrs. Stick for sandwiches. I wish she hadn't brought Stinker, said George gloomingly. Everything would be easier if he wasn't here. Is that the name of a son? Asked Uncle Quentin in surprise. George grinned. No, although it wouldn't be a bad name for him because he hardly ever has a bad bath. And he's really smelly. It's her dog, I mean. She calls him Tinker, but I call him Stinker because he smells so awful. I don't think that's a very nice name, said her father in the midst of the others' giggles. No, it isn't, said George. But then he isn't a very nice dog. In the end, it was Aunt Fanny who saw Mrs. Stick and arranged about the sandwiches. Mrs. Stick went up to see Aunt Fanny, who was having breakfast in bed, and agreed to make sandwiches, though with a very bad grace. I didn't bargain for three more children to come traipsing along, she said sulkily. I told you they were coming, Mrs. Stick, said Aunt Fanny patiently. I didn't know I would be feeling so ill myself when they came. If I had been well, I could have made their sandwiches and done many more things. I can only ask you to help as much as you can till I feel better. I may be all right tomorrow. Let the children have a good time for a week or so, and then if I still feel ill, I'm sure they will all turn to and help a bit, but let them have a good time first. The children took their packets of sandwiches and set off. On the way, they met Edgar looking as stupid, as silly as usual. Why don't you let me come along with you? He said. Let's go to that island. I know a lot about it. No, you don't, said George in a flash. You don't know anything about it, and I'll never take you. It's my island, well, ours. It belongs to all four of us and Timmy, too. We'd never allow you to go. "'Tisn't your island," said Edgar. "That's a lie. That is. You don't know what you're talking about," said George scornfully. "Come on, you lot. We can't waste time talking to Edgar." They left him looking sulky and angry. As soon as they were at a safe distance, he lifted up his voice. So, I'll just okay, we have a little bit. Georgie, Podgy, Pudding, and Pie. She knows how to tell a lie. Georgie, Podgy, Pudding, and Pie. Julian started to go back after him, but George pulled him on. He'll only go and tell tales to his mother's, and she'll walk out, and there'll be no one to help Mum, she said. I'll just have to put up with it. Let's try and think of some way to get out our own back, though I can't stand him. I hate his pimply nose and sere, wet up eyes. Woof, said Timmy feelingly. Timmy says he hates Tinker's miserable tail and silly little ears, explained George, and they all laughed. That made them feel better. They were soon out of hearing of Edgar's silly song and forgot all about him. Let's go and see if your boat is ready, said Julian. Then maybe we could row out to the island. So here ends this chapter. Please go and read and read along with me, and you'll have a good time reading those words, so difficult words. And also I'll send 5 words in the evening. You can make note of it, you can keep a book, make note of it, and you can use it in your daily conversation. If you have any other doubts, you can definitely reach out to me in the comment section, and I'll definitely help you out. And again, I would like to make a reminder or give a reminder to all of you that I'm a content writer right now, and if anyone are interested in content writing, or would like to know about content writing or need help in content writing, you can reach out to me in the comment section, and definitely I'll answer you all. So have a good weekend, take care, do read these chapters, go do read sorry to watch my videos, and please make notes, and I'll see you again on Monday. Take care.